I don't like to think of myself as a superstitious person, but I was looking around my bedroom a couple days ago, and I realized that I'm full of shit because my whole bedroom is just covered in fortune cookie fortunes that I have like stickered to the wall, put on my laptop. I use them as bookmarks and all of like my bathroom reading. Because I guess I'm somebody who needs to like have something to think about when he's on the toilet. So I'm looking at these fortune cookies, and see, one of them is every exit is an entrance to new experiences. Or it is a silly fish that is caught twice by the same bait. Or my favorite one is beware, the lion does not roar while he is hunting. And I think that it is. It makes sense that I would be, trusting in fortune, because I've actually been trusting in superstition since before I was born. When I was 10, I went down into the basement of my house, and I found this old sketchbook that my father used to have, and there was a painting, a watercolor painting in the sketchbook of this sort of coffee-colored baby sort of swimming through this ethereal like starscape. And there were all these Aztec symbols and parts of my father's poetry written around. And I turned it over, and on the back, my father had just scribbled, La raza cósmica. And I was like, what is... I took it to my mother, and I gave her a very polite, what the fuck? And she told me the story. My mother, Alice, said that when I was on the way, my father and she had been really into this, I guess they kind of went, they became certifiably insane for a very brief period, just like every expecting parents do. And they believed that my birth was kind of part of this historical event that had been foretold by a Mexican philosopher named Jose Vasconcelos, who, among other things, had a failed run for presidency of Mexico in 1929. And Jose said that in the future there was going to be this cosmic race, this super race, this future race of people who were happy and unified and were a combination of all the other races on the planet. And my mother and father got into their idea that because I was half white and half Mexican, I was like the paratrooper, strike force, and that I was like on the front lines in the vanguard because I was half white, half Mexican, as they like to call it, café con leche, coffee with milk. And then right as soon as she told me that, her like eyes misted over, and she said, "Someday I'll tell you the whole story when you're older." And so I got older, thinking that this Jose's like pre-Scientology bullshit was like the reason that my parents had decided to have me. Why not? But what happened is that after that first time, my mother and I kind of developed a tradition. She would sort of drop a couple extra hints and details about this story every once in a while, like maybe once a year around Christmas. And so sure enough, the first year of college, I'm back for winter break, and Mom is driving me back to Yale driving through Colorado, and we've got our cat, Jaguar, in the back seat. And he is just terrified because we're taking a cat on the highway, and he's shitting himself with fear. So we have to pull over. And as we are scraping cat shit out of the back seat, she starts to reminisce about how when she just graduated from college, she was in her 20s, she was living in Oakland, California, she was sleeping with married men, working as a car mechanic for the Navy, hanging out with lesbians. And her friend Maria invited her down to Mexico City for spring break. And she goes down there and she meets this pothead Mexican poet named Arturo, who is 19, but he looks 27, and he smells of patchouli oil. And Arnoldo had run away. He was a runaway Mexican poet who'd run away from home to join an art cult in Mexico City. And he taught my mother how to swear in Spanish, and she fell madly in love with him, and flew right back to California, quit her job with the Navy, and then went right back to Mexico so that she could go and run away with my father. And they moved out of Mexico City to the foot of a volcano called Popocatépetl, in a little village called Tepetlispa, which is Nahuatl, which is the Aztec language for little village at the foot of a volcano.